बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. In this lecture, I will discuss the solutions of P1 variant 13 of June 21. Well, all these instructions are very important, especially this last one. Give non-exact numerical answers correct to 3 significant figures or 1 decimal place for angles in degrees. Unless a different level of accuracy is specified in the question, always go through and follow these instructions. An important advice for me and for everyone, we must be positive. Here are some important tips to solve the paper in a good way. Number 1, avoid shortcuts to avoid careless mistakes. Number 2, read and follow the given instructions. Number 3, do neat and tidy work. Number 4, read the questions carefully. Number 5, do every question with good concentration. And the last tip is manage the exam time smartly. Good luck to everyone. Question number 1. A curve with equation f of x is such that this is the gradient of the curve. It is given that the curve passes through this point 27. We need the equation of the curve. So by integrating this gradient with respect to x, we can get the equation of the curve. First, write the simplified form of this gradient here. Now integrate this equation with respect to x. In fact, this gradient. So when you will integrate f prime x, you will get f of x. When you will integrate x square, you will get x cube upon 3. 6 is the coefficient. We always copy the coefficient. When you will integrate this, you will get x power minus 1 over minus 1. And this is the simplified form of this equation. Now substitute this point into this equation for the value of c. And this is the value of c. After getting the value of c, substitute c into this equation to get the equation of the curve. Question number 2. The function f is defined by, for this domain, it is given that f is a decreasing function. Well, for decreasing functions, gradient is always negative. F prime x is always negative. This is the condition for decreasing functions. Find the maximum possible value of the constant a. For this, we just need to differentiate this to get f prime x first. So first, differentiate this equation of the curve to get f prime x. So when you will differentiate f of x, you will get f prime x. When you will differentiate this composite function, you will get this thing. First, copy the function, then make this power coefficient, then subtract this power by 1, and then differentiate this function. This is the way to differentiate composite functions. And the differential of minus 2x will be minus 2. This is the simplified form of f prime x. Now use the condition for decreasing functions, f prime x less than 0. This is f prime x. We need x. For that, we need to bring this minus 2 on the right side of the inequality. And we have to square on both sides so that we can cancel this root. This is the value of x. And when you will compare this value with this, you will get the value of a. Therefore, a is 5 upon 2. Make sure you remember the condition for decreasing functions. This is the condition for decreasing functions. F prime x less than 0. Next question, number 3. A line with equation y is equal to mx minus 6 is a tangent. Tangent means b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. To the curve with equation y is equal to x square minus 4x plus 3. Find the possible values of the constant m and the corresponding coordinates of the points at which the line touches the curve. So we need two things. Number one, we need the values of m, and number two, we need the points of tangency, the coordinates of the point where the line is tangent to the curve. Number one, we need to equate these two y's to get the standard quadratic equation. So by equating these two y's, we have got this standard quadratic equation. In this equation, a is 1, b is negative bracket 4 plus m, and this is c. And this is the condition for line to be tangent to the curve. We use this discriminant when given line is tangent to the given curve. So by substituting the values of b, a and c into this discriminant, we have got this equation. This minus will be eliminated because of this even power. So you don't need to expand this, you just need to use a square minus b square formula to make the calculation simple. So this is a square and this is b square. So this is a minus b, this is a plus b. So we have got the values of m. Now we need the coordinates of points of tangency. For that, we need to substitute these values of m into this equation one by one. First, we will substitute 2 into this equation to get the x coordinate. So when we will substitute 2 here, we will get this x3. Next, we have to substitute this x either into this equation or into this equation to get the y coordinate. So when x is 3, y is 0. So this is the first point of tangency. When we will substitute minus 10 into this equation, we will get this value of x. And when we will substitute this value of x into this equation or into this equation, we will get this value of y, 24. So these are 2 points of tangency. So we had to find the values of m, and then we had to find the points at which the line touched the curve. We have got both the things. This is the first answer. Of this question. And this is the second answer of this question. Next question, number 4. Well, this is given and we have to show this thing. We have to transform this equation into this form. For that, we need to use this formula of tan sin x upon cos x, both in numerator and denominator. So tan x is sin upon cos, and same is here. Now we need to take the LCM both in numerator and denominator. Cos x is the LCM. Before taking the LCM, we need to take sin x common both in numerator and denominator. So when you will take sin x common, you will get 1 upon cos x plus 1 here. And I took the LCM side by side because of the lack of space here. So after cancelling these two cos and these two sines, we have shown this thing, that this is equal to k. Next part of this question. Now we have to find cos x in terms of k. For that, we need to do cross multiplication. So when we will multiply this with this, we will get this equation. Now we need to bring this cos on left side and this one on right side, so that we can take cos x common. So when we will bring this cos x on left side, and after taking cos common, we will get this equation. Now we have to make the cos x subject. For that, we need to divide this on right hand side. This is what we had to find. We had to make the cos x subject. Last part of this question, we have to solve this equation. Hence, the word hence means use the answers of the previous parts. So if you will compare this equation with this equation, then you will see that k is 4. And the simplified form of this equation is this. Cos x is this. So we need to use this form here with k4. This is here with K4. So according to this domain, we have to work in clockwise direction and in anti-clockwise direction. Minus pi means work in clockwise direction till here, and plus pi means work in anti-clockwise direction till here. But since cos is positive, so it must be in first and last quadrant. This is the value of alpha. So when you will work in anti-clockwise direction, you will get positive answer. When you will work in clockwise direction, you will get negative answer. Make sure you write your answer up to 3 significant figures, because the answers are in radians. When answers are in radian, then always give your answer up to 3 significant figures. You can check the solution of this question again. Next question. Number 5. The diagram shows a triangle ABC in which ABC is 90 degrees. AB is 4. The sector ABD is part of a circle with center A. This sector has center A. The area of this sector is 10 centimeter square. We need this angle theta. This is 4, so this is also 4. AD is also 4 because AD is radius. So with the help of this area 10, we can easily get this angle theta. So the formula of area of sector is half r squared theta. So by using this formula here, we can get the value of theta, which is 1.25 radians. Next part, find the perimeter of the shaded region. This is the perimeter of the shaded region. BC, DC and arc BD. For the perimeter of this shaded region, we need to find the lengths of this triangle, this length and this length. So this triangle is here. So by using tan in this triangle, we can get BC. So tan BC upon 4 is tan theta, and theta is 1.25. So BC, we have got the length of BC. Now we need the length of AC. For that we need to use cos in this triangle or in this triangle. So when we will use cos in this triangle, we'll get the length of AC. So after getting these two lengths, we can easily get this length, DC. DC is AC minus 4. And the perimeter is this, BC, DC, arc BD. So BC, DC or CD and arc BD. So arc BD is r theta. You know the formula of arc length, r theta. This is r and this is theta. And you all know how to get the length of CD. It is AC minus 4. So this will be the perimeter. I left these calculations for you. You can do this yourself. Make sure your calculator must be in radian mode, because theta is in radians. Next question. This question is of functions transformations. Well, functions f and g are both defined for this domain. Number A, or first part, by first expressing each of f of x and g of x in completed the square form. So stop this here. First express f and g both in the completed the square form. There are two methods. Number 1, comparing the coefficient method. This is the comparing the coefficient method. You can easily express f of x with the help of this method in completed the square form. So when you will expand this and when you will compare the like powers of x on both sides, coefficients of like powers of x on both sides, you will get the values of a, b and c. Then substitute a, b, c into this equation. This is the completed the square form of f of x. This is the first method and this is the easiest method. This is the second method, completed the square form method. According to this method, we first need to copy these two and we need to add that term which is missing in these two terms. So 1 square is missing. So according to math rules, we have to add 1 square and we have to subtract 1 square, and this plus 5 is here. Those students who know this method can do this method. Otherwise, I always recommend students use this method to express this into this form, because this method is simple. Although it's lengthy, but this method is very simple. This method is not simple, this is complicated. So this is the completed the square form of f of x. Similarly, this is the completed the square form of g of x. You can use this method to transform g of x into this form. Next part. Express g of x in this form. Now you need to observe this transformation. G of x is equal to this. This is very important. See, this is the equation of g of x. You need to understand this equation well. This means horizontal translation, and this means vertical translation. So this means combined translation. Combined translation, vector minus 3 and like vector minus p and q. This is the vector. So you have to transform this equation into this form. So you need to compare these two results. To transform this equation into this form, you need to compare f of x and g of x. For horizontal translation, you need to use this x minus 1. This is here, x minus 1 plus p is equal to x plus 2, because this will convert into this form. When you add p into this, you'll get this thing. So I added p here to get the value of p. So p is 3. Now compare these two. You have to add q here to get this number 9. So 4 plus q is equal to 9. So q is 5. This is the way to get the values of p and q. See, by comparing horizontal components first and then vertical components, you can easily get the values of q and p. When you will compare horizontal components, by adding p into this horizontal component, you will get the value of p. And when you will compare these two vertical components, you will get the value of q, which is 5. So 4 plus q is equal to 9. So q is 5. This is the way to get the values of p and q. So p is 3 means translation vector is minus 3. Because when you will add 3 here, you will get x plus 2. And it's the rule. Translation vector is with negative sign. You must know this thing, that if translation vector is AB, then in equation we write this as x minus a plus b. We always change the sign of x component. So if equation is x plus a plus b, then translation vector must be minus a plus b. This will be with opposite sign. This is the rule of the translation horizontal component for translation. So p is 3 means translation vector is minus p. So translation is minus 3 and q is 5. Horizontal component is minus 3 and vertical is 5. So this is the way to transform this equation f of x into gx form. The first part is very simple. We just had to convert this and this into completed this square form. This part was simple. The second part is important. By observing this equation, you can easily understand that this is combined translation with vector minus p and q. So for the values of p and q, you just need to compare x component of x. This is object and this is image. So object is equal to image with p, with horizontal component. So x minus 1 plus p is equal to x plus 2. This will give you the value of p. Similarly, when you will compare the vertical components of both. In this way, 4 plus q is equal to 9. You will get the value of q. So you just need to put 3 here and 5 here. The value of p is 3 and the value of q is 5. But the translation vector is minus p and q, because we write opposite sign of this here. Second part, describe fully this transformation which transform the graph to this graph. We already have discussed this in this part, that this is combined translation with vector minus p and q. Next question. 7 part A. Write down the first 4 terms of the expansion. This is very simple. We have to expand this with alternate signs because of this negative sign. So first term has sign plus, then negative, then positive, then negative, and so on. So 61, a to the power 5 and x to the power 1. Don't take the sign of this second term here, because this sign is already here. So these are first 4 terms of this expansion in ascending powers of x. Part B. Given that the coefficient of x square in this expansion is minus 20, find in exact form the possible values of the constant a. So this is very simple. We need to use this answer here. So the answer of part 1 should be used here. Now we have to multiply those terms which will give us coefficients of x square. So when we will multiply this 1 with this term, we will get coefficient of x square, which is 15a power 4. When we will multiply this term with this last term, then we will get coefficient of x square, which is minus 40a square. And coefficient of x square is minus 20. Now we just need to solve this equation. So first bring this on left side and take 5 common. Now we have to break the middle term. So by breaking the middle term of this equation, we have got this equation. By taking 3a square common from these two, we will get this, and minus 2 from these two will get this. So the values of a are plus minus under root 2 upon 3 and plus minus root 2. You have to show this working, breaking the middle term. Next question, number 8. I'm sorry. So we have to solve this equation. Remember, while solving these types of equations, always check your answer with the given domains. You should check your answer with the domain of this function g. So fg, this is very simple. For fg, we replace x of f by g. This is g. So we need to replace this x by this value of g. So by replacing this x by this thing, we have got this equation. And this minus 1 is here. We just need to solve this equation carefully. So we have to bring this 1 on right hand side. We'll get 4, and when we will take square root, we'll get 2 values, and these are 2 values of x. So according to this domain, this value is rejected and this is the right value. This is rejected because of this domain. This is the right answer. Check the answer with respect to the domain of g. Next part, we need the expression for fg whole inverse. This is very simple. We have the expression of fg. This is the expression of fg. Sorry, this is the expression of fg. So we need to replace fg by y first. Then we need to make this bracket subject. For that, we need to bring this 1 on left hand side. After taking the reciprocal of this equation, we will get this equation. We took the reciprocal and we took the square root on both sides. We have to take negative sign. When we'll take square root, we'll take negative sign because x is decreasing. Finally, we have made x subject, and At the end, we need to replace x by fg whole inverse and this y by x. So make sure you must replace y by x and this x by fg inverse. This is the expression for fg whole inverse. Next question, number 9. A GP is such that the second term is equal to 24% of the sum to infinity. This is here. Second term means T2, 24% means 0.24, sum to infinity is S infinite. The second term of GP is AR, 0.24 is here copied, and sum to infinite formula is A upon 1 minus R. By cancelling these two A's, we have this equation. We cancelled these two A's and we cross multiplied this 1 minus R. So we have this equation and finally we have this equation. By using quadratic formula, we have got two values of R. You have to show this working. You cannot write your answer directly from calculator. Part B. An arithmetic progression P has first term A and common difference D. So the AP P has first term A and common difference D, and AP Q has first term this and common difference this. It is given that this ratio, fifth term to 12th term, is 1 upon 3 and sum of first 5 P and sum of first 5 Q is 2 upon 3. This is very simple. We just need to write the terms carefully. The APP has first term A and common difference D. Therefore, the fifth term of this AP will be A plus 4D. And the 12th term of Q will be 2A and A is A plus 1. This is the first term, 2A plus 1. This entire thing is the first term. And 12 means 11 and D is D plus 1. So this is the 12th term of this APQ and this is ratio 1 upon 3. After cross multiplication and simplification, we have got this equation. Sum of first 5 terms of P, so 5 upon 2 according to SN formula, then 2A plus 4D. You must know the formula of SN of AP. Here you must find the sum carefully. 5 upon 2 is N upon 2. And according to some formula, we write 2A. So 2A means 4A plus 1. This 2 when multiplied by this thing will get 4 times A plus 1. And since we are working for the first 5 terms, so this should be 4 and this is D of this APQ. After cross multiplication and simplification, we have got this equation. By solving these two equations simultaneously, we have got the values of A and D. Make sure you work carefully for this sequence Q. Next question. Points A, B and C lie on the circumference of a circle with center D. So this is the situation. Show that ABC is 90 degree. So angle B is 90 means this is the situation of this given information. This is the rough sketch. So we need to prove this angle 90 with the help of this gradient formula, gradient of perpendicular lines. The product of the gradients of perpendicular lines is always -1. So gradient of AB is -3 upon 5 and gradient of BC is 5 upon 3. -1 is equal to -1, hence shown that angle B is 90 degrees. And you know, according to angle properties of circle, when this angle is 90, then AC is diameter, because this is according to angle properties of circle, right angle in semicircle. Since AC is diameter, therefore D is the midpoint of AC and D is the center. D is the center of the circle and at the same time D is the midpoint of diameter AC. So D is the midpoint of AC. So we have got the coordinates of D by finding the midpoint of AC. Equation of circle is very simple. We need radius for equation of circle because we already have these coordinates of center. So radius is length DC or AD. I found this length DC. So this length is under root 17, which is radius. This is the equation of the circle. X minus 2 whole square, y minus 4 whole square, and radius square. X minus a whole square, y minus b whole square is equal to r square. This is the equation of the circle. Next part of this question. The point E lies on the circumference of the circle such that BE is diameter. So E should be here. If B is here, then E should be here. This is E. So you can easily get the coordinates of E because D is the midpoint of BE. So for D, find the midpoint of, use the formula midpoint of BE. Get the midpoint of BE. So D is 2, 4 and BE, E is XY and B is this. So by using this midpoint formula, we have got the coordinates of D. Find an equation of the tangent to the circle at E. We need equation of this line. For that we need a gradient of this line, DE. Because this gradient will help us to get the gradient of this line. Because this is radius and radius is always perpendicular to tangent. Or tangent is always perpendicular to radius. So gradient of DE is minus 4. Therefore gradient of this tangent is 1 upon 4. Hence, this is the equation of the circle. This is the equation of this tangent. So first get the coordinates of E with the help of the midpoint formula. BE, the midpoint of BE is D. So with the help of this midpoint formula, get the coordinates of D first, then get the gradient of DE. With the help of this gradient, get the gradient of the tangent, and then use this equation to find the equation of tangent, or to get the equation of the tangent. Next question. The diagram shows part of the curve with equation where k is a positive constant. Find the coordinates of the minimum point. So this is very simple. For the coordinates of turning point, we always differentiate the given equation and then we equate gradient to 0. So when you will differentiate y, you will get dy upon dx. When you will differentiate this, you will get half x minus half. And when you will differentiate this, you will get this thing, minus half k square x power minus 3 upon 2. Now you have to equate gradient to 0. So when you will equate gradient to 0 and when you will take half x minus half common, you will get this thing. So either this equal to 0 or this equal to 0. This is not possible because at this point x is not 0. So when you will solve this equation, you will get the value of x. So the x coordinate of this turning point, this minimum point, is k. By substituting this k here, we will get the y coordinate, which is 2k. So the coordinates of the stationary points are k square comma 2k. Next part of this question. The tangent at the point on the curve where x is this intersects the y-axis at P. So the coordinates of P will be 0, y. For that we need to first find equation of tangent. And for equation of tangent, we must have the y coordinate of this point where x is 4k square. So number 1, find the y coordinate of the point at which the tangent is to the curve with x coordinate this. So when we will substitute this into equation of curve, we will get the y coordinate. So the point of tangency is this, 4k square, and y coordinate is 5k upon 2. So make sure you will first work for the y coordinate of the point of tangency. So this is the y coordinate by substituting this into equation of the curve. Now you have to find gradient at this particular value of x. So dy upon dx, we have the expression of dy upon dx. This is the expression of dy upon dx. By substituting this x into equation of dy upon dx, we have got the gradient. Make sure you do the calculations carefully. You can write 4k square as 2k square whole power 3 upon 2. This will make your calculation simple. So this is the gradient, this is the point, so we can easily get the equation of tangent. This is the equation of the tangent. You don't need to simplify this. You just need to substitute 0 comma y into this equation to get the y coordinate of this point. So when you will substitute 0 comma y into this equation, you will get the y coordinate 7k upon 4. So the coordinates of P are 0 comma 7k upon 4. So let me give you a short review. First, use this x coordinate to get the y coordinate of the point of tangency. This is the point of tangency. Now use this to get the gradient of the tangent, which is 3 upon 16k. After getting the point of tangency and gradient, find the equation of the tangent and don't simplify it. Just substitute 0 comma y into this to get the y coordinate of P and state the coordinates of P like this. Last part of this question, the shaded region, this region with limits, lower limit 9 upon 4k square and upper is 4k square. So the shaded region is bounded by the curve and these two lines. Find the area. This is very simple. We know the formula of area of shaded region, lower limit, upper limit, equation of y and dx. Make sure you integrate this carefully. When you will integrate this, you'll get this. When you will integrate this, you'll get this. Now you have to apply the limits very carefully. So when you will apply the upper limit, which is 4k square, you'll get this thing. Here and here, you'll get these two things. Put minus sign and then apply the lower limit. When you will apply this here and this here, you'll get this thing. Manage these calculations very carefully. So we have applied the upper and lower limits. Now we need to write this as 2k square and whole power 3 upon 2. See, we wrote this as 2k whole square and whole power 3 upon 2 to make the calculation simple. This will become 2k because this is under root 4k square. So you can directly write this as 2k. Here you have to write this as 3k upon 2 whole square and whole power 3 upon 2. And this is simple. This is just 9k square upon 4 under root. So it will become 3k upon 2. Now you have to cancel 2 with this 2 with this 2, and then you have to cube this thing. So when you will cube these two, you'll get 8k cube. Same is here, cancel this 2 with this 2 and cube this thing. And then simplify this carefully. That's the final answer. Well, I hope this lecture will help you to understand how to solve the questions of this P1 paper. And important advice for me and for everyone, we must be of benefit to others. All the best. Allah Hafiz.